Rusame reader, Crow Song, and today I will be reading to you from Black Coffee by MysterySaviour. Now, on to Act 1, Chapter 20. Oh my god! Holy shit, it's you! Belarus ran next to New Zealand and wrapped her arms around her, causing the taller of the two to swing her around in circles, laughing. Oh my god, Belarus, it's you! You're here! New Zealand squealed as she put Belarus down with a wide smile. Belarus rubbed her arm sheepishly. Been a while, hasn't it? New Zealand nodded, hooking Belarus's arm in hers and walking with her to the blue plastic seats surrounding the rink. We have so much catching up to do. What was that about? America asked, watching the girls giggle and chat by the rink. Australia rolled her eyes and whacked him lightly upside the head. Mate, do you seriously not remember? Kiwi and Belle were like best buds in high school, but then they lost touch. It's weird that Belle was surprised to see her, Ukraine noted, frowning slightly as she leaned into Canada. She usually knows that kind of stuff. USSR shrugged. Maybe she just knew it would be someone familiar, but not specifically who it was. Maybe. Whatever it was, it doesn't matter now, France dismissed cheerfully as she shook Soviet and Third Reich's hands. It's lovely to meet you both. I'm France. Everyone then began introducing each other with simple greetings, and soon settled into groups. The parents of the couple ganging up to interrogate one another about their child, Canada and Ukraine off in their own lovey-dovey world, Kazakhstan and Sylvie with Australia not so subtly trying to convince her to ice skate. Germany had gone with Poland to a movie and said he would be back later, so he wasn't really involved, which annoyed his father to no end. And Belarus and New Zealand were still chatting up a storm, and then that just left America and Russia. That's the name? Russia chuckled, pushing some hair out of his face. America playfully punched him in the shoulder and poked his tongue out at him. You're totally stalking me. Maybe, Russia admitted before smirking. Or maybe you're the one stalking me. America feigned a gasp and placed his hand over his heart as though he were deeply offended. Why, I would never! Russia snickered and grabbed his hand, leading him to the side of the rink, since everyone had collectively started to gravitate there without them. America didn't resist and just focused on trying not to blush from the warmth emitting from Russia's hand, despite the fact that he was basically wearing summer clothes in a -degree room. As he pulled on his skates, America asked, Russia, why are you wearing that? It's freezing. Russia shrugged, tying the laces of his ice skates. I'm just used to the cold. Figures. Once everyone had their equipment on, they all slid into the ice, some more cautious than others. Kaz and Sovi were still trying to coax Australia onto the ice, although with Sovi it was more demanding. Come on, you can do it, Kazakhstan encouraged, taking Australia's left arm gently and slowly inching towards the ice. We won't let you fall. We might a couple times, 'cause Dad says falling helps you learn, Sylvie said honestly, holding her right hand since he couldn't properly hold her arm like his half-brother could. I met you guys legit a few minutes ago, and you're already trying to kill me. The ice won't kill you, Sylvie frowned. Yeah, it'll just bruise. Like that makes it any better. Australia held onto both of the boys for dear life and shut her eyes tight as they all slid onto the ice in unison. To her surprise, when she opened her eyes back up reluctantly, Australia was still steady on both feet. Kazakhstan smiled at her and nodded to Sylvie as they both smoothly began to glide her in between them, keeping her steady whenever she would wobble. She smiled confidently after a few minutes of this and straightened, letting go of the boys and gaining courage to skate on her own. The European countries let her go without much of a fight and watched as she took her first steps alone, before immediately falling on her face. America had finally gotten his skates on and pushed himself to his feet, eager to get on the ice and race someone. However, his plans were quickly delayed slightly when he noticed that Russia awkwardly was standing by the entrance of the ring, watching their families glide on the ice. Russ? America called to snap the other out of his trance, walking up to him as well as he could in skates. What are you doing, handing around in here? I would have thought you'd already be out on the ice. I actually can't skate, Russia admitted, shuffling from foot to foot nervously. America raised an eyebrow skeptically and shifted his weight onto his right leg, crossing his arms and sticking out his hip. Really? America scoffed with a smile. Russia, Mr. Never Sees the Sun and Snow reigns supreme, can't ice skate. I know it's weird. Weird doesn't even cover it, America snorted. You're literally in a t-shirt and jeans right now. You can't tell me you can't skate when you live in a place that's so fucking cold you don't actually mind this. Just shut up and help me. Okay, America giggled, slipping his gloved hand into Russia's. Russia's face tinted pink as America gently directed him towards the ice, careful not to let him trip over. They reached the edge, and America slid onto the ice, swinging around gracefully and placing his free hand on Russia's free one. They were positioned so that Russia hadn't touched the slippery ground with his skates, and America was facing him. Ready? America slowly skated backwards on the ice and brought Russia forward, carefully watching as Russia wobbled this way and that, trying to get steady on his skates as he walked after America. Ruski, don't lift your feet, okay? Look at my feet, America explained, directing Russia's attention to his stance as they moved. I'm just staying on the ice and not really lifting my feet unless they go too far in one direction. You're still trying to walk. You gotta glide. Russia nodded and concentrated on gliding, pushing each foot forward shakily and drifting along. Soon, the shakiness had disappeared, and Russia was determinedly coasting, making sure that his feet didn't stumble or lift too high to make him misstep and fall forward into America. See? Now you got it! America beamed, squeezing Russia's hands. You're a natural, Russ. Russia blushed from the praise and smiled down at him as they skated together past their family. Kaz, Sylvie, and Oz. Surprise, surprise. America's innocent smile turned into a devilish one as an idea formed in his head. Russia knew that look. America, what are you? Without warning, America yanked his arms back, causing Russia to lurch forward and crash into him. Surprisingly, America adjusted his stance to accompany the newfound weight on top of him, and just looked down at a stunned Russia with a shit-eating grin. Aw, Ruski, if you wanted a hug that bad, you could have just asked. Russia blushed hard, trying desperately to pull himself back up. You were the one who caused this, Mashinyik. America just grinned at him, hugging him tightly. I haven't the slightest idea what you're talking about. Murdak. Sorry for not cutting off myself properly, but that is Russian for asshole. Canada, that's not fair! Ukraine yelled as Canada wrapped her in a hug and shouted tag. Is too. It's not! You can't go the other way. You have to stay in the same direction. You're just a sore loser, he snickered, burying his face into her hair and tightening his grip around her waist. America let go of Russia, but still held his hand, just to make sure he didn't fall, of course. That's very straight, he chuckled, putting a hand on his hip. Canada rolled his eyes playfully and raised an eyebrow. And that's very gay, he jabbed, nodding towards their intertwined hands. Russia blushed, but didn't let go, shoving his hand in his pocket to stop himself from covering his face with his Ushanka flaps, as he stared at his suddenly very interesting ice skates. Oh, this? America asked, playing dumb as he held up Russia's hand for the world to see, not giving a damn. If Russia didn't like it, he could always just let go. I'm just teaching him how to ice skate, since he said he didn't know how. Ukraine burst out laughing when she heard that, and she would have almost fallen onto the frigid ice had it not been for Canada supporting her torso. Russia not knowing how to skate! Ukraine managed to gasp out between fits of laughter. He's the best skater I know. America swiveled an accusatory gaze to the tall country he was holding the hand of, who was blushing so hard he looked basically like his dad. America looked down at their hands and back up at his face, back down and back up again. Then it dawned on him. Aw, Ruski, America cooed, wrapping Russia in a side hug, much to the taller's surprise and further embarrassment. You know, you can hold my hand whenever, don't ya? Kasave! Russia screeched with a beet-red face, flailing his arms about in distress, careful not to actually hit America. The Russian roughly translates to, shut the fuck up. No, what about me? Canada pouted down at his girlfriend. Don't worry, nobody, Ukraine reassured, wiping the tears that had started collecting in her eyes as she finally stopped laughing so hard. You're better. Suddenly, the upbeat song being played from the speakers that adorned the cement walls ended, and a new song began. A slow, loving song. One that America and Russia knew all too well. I've been awake for a while now. You got me feeling like my child now. Third and Soviet immediately smiled at each other and began dancing on the ice, gliding and drifting this way and that in an endless tango of careful movements and loving glances. France and Britain soon did the same, not as gracefully, but just as lovingly. Canada and Ukraine lapsed into a slow dance as well. A more modernized way to slow dance, but slow dancing nonetheless. Across the ice, Belarus and New Zealand were just swinging each other in circles, laughing and dancing in their own way. Kazakhstan and Sovi had finally, somehow, gotten Australia to glide a bit, but she completely refused to try dancing, shaking her head so furiously she almost fell over. Again. For like the 7th time. America had released Russia, and his cheeks flushed as he remembered the last time he heard this song. Why did the universe hate him so much? Russia, however, swallowed his embarrassment and smiled softly at the song, looking at America from the corner of his eye. He chuckled softly when he saw how bashful America was being, and he held out his hand to the shorter country. America stared at the hand, turning to search Russia's face for the answer. But Russia only smiled. Mozono mienneto twentieth. That roughly translates to, may I have this dance? America gasped slightly, his cheeks reddening even more at the sound of Russia's deep voice sending shivers down his spine. He nodded almost unnoticeably and took Russia's hand, leading him to being swept into Russia's arms. He had danced before, but this was different. How the hell do you glide while waltzing? Russia just smiled patiently whenever America stumbled, and interlocked their hands, leading a simpler dance for the troubled nation to get the hang of. He glided backward and twirled America around smoothly, causing the smaller of the two to giggle affectionately before returning to his arms, becoming more confident with each second that passed. Russia twirled America into him before twirling him back out, earning more laughter. America seemed to really enjoy the feeling of being spun. It felt nice to make him laugh. They floated along the ice rhythmically, all their movements in sync and matching perfectly. They tuned out the world around them. The only things existing in the moment was them and the music. It felt right. As the song began to drop off its end beats, Russia slipped a strong arm around America's waist and dipped him, drawing a startled laugh from the other. Russia smiled with his eyes half-lidded as he watched America close in pure bliss. He leaned down to the other's ear and whispered, "You sang it better." America's laugh stopped in an instant as he realized the implications behind that single sentence, his blush returning as he stared at a smug Russia with his mouth agape. All too soon, he was righted, and Sovi had whisked Russia away to show him Australia's progress, and America was left standing alone with a bewildered look on his face. Russia had heard him. Shit. And that's the end of this chapter. I hope you enjoyed. Anyway, I'd like to invite you to join the Discord, which is linked down in the description below. That being said, I hope you have a nice rest of your day, night, or whatever it is for you. Just enjoy your time. And I will see you tomorrow.